Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're looking for how to adopt without having to use an agency, well, stick around because that's what I'm going to cover in this video. Now, as you probably know, there are a lot of different ways that you can adopt. But one of the most popular ways that people adopt, whether it's a newborn or foster care or international, is through an agency, because agencies are licensed and they're licensed by the state to be able to help you match with expectant families and make sure that the adoption process is done legally and smoothly, okay? So if that's you, and you are wanting to adopt without an agency, and you are looking for an adoption blueprint or a guide to help you along the way so that you know the step-by-step process you need to take, I want to invite you to apply for the Adoption Success Accelerator program and join the other 25 students in the program who have seen so much success in their adoption. And so if that's you and you want to know, hey, I need a guide, I don't know what I'm doing, and you want a step-by-step guide, you want an experienced professional to help you through the process so that you don't make any costly mistakes along the way, you don't waste a lot of time and money, then again, I want to invite you to click the link below to apply for the Adoption Success Accelerator. All right. So whenever you Google adoptions, you'll find probably a bunch of agencies come up. You'll see a bunch of ads for agencies and things like that. So most hopeful adoptive families, when they're first starting out on their journey, they immediately think, adoption agency, that's who I should work with. Well, if you've done some research for a while and you've maybe decided that, I don't want to work with an agency. Maybe you heard a bad experience from one of your friends, or you saw some things in a Facebook group. Well, I want to talk to you in this video about different ways that you can still go through the adoption process without necessarily going through an adoption agency. All right, so let's dive right into the video. So the first thing that I want to cover here is you really want to understand the different types of adoption professionals that can be involved in an adoption. One of those obviously is an attorney, because you need an attorney to legalize the adoption and do all the legal paperwork. But there are also attorneys, depending on the states that they live in, where they're able to help adoptive parents match with birth moms. And so that's one professional that you can actually use to help you in the matching process of adoption is a lawyer, okay? And another professional that you could also utilize is a consultant. Consultants are not licensed, but what they do is they kind of bridge the gap between you and a lot of different agencies, and they help you get your profile out to a lot of different agencies at the same time so that you don't feel like you're necessarily stuck with just one agency for years, okay? So those are two different professionals that you can use for your adoption apart from like working directly with an agency, okay? A third way that you can go about your adoption without an agency is by self-matching, meaning you don't want any professionals involved and you really just want to be able to do this on your own. And so those are the three ways that at the get-go, if you understand all these three other avenues that you can use to adopt a child, it'll be really beneficial for you as you are really looking into adopting without an agency, okay? The second thing to really keep in mind as you're looking into adopting without an agency is your adoption profile. Your adoption profile is a really big deal. This is the book, document, however you put it together, that an expectant mom is going to be looking at when she is trying to decide what family she wants to pick to be the family for her unborn baby. And so your adoption profile is really the only thing she gets to see about you. And so you obviously want the adoption profile to stand out. You want it to be unique. You want it to be something that as she is reading through it, she can be like, oh, I feel like I know these people a little bit, So one of the big mistakes that hopeful adoptive parents make is they try to put together their adoption profile on their own, and that usually ends up biting you in the behind later, because a lot of times, even if you're working with an agency and you put together your adoption profile, you may not be getting matched with a birth mom because honestly your adoption profile stinks. you know. Maybe the birth moms are not even looking at it because it's not professionally done. It's kind of haphazardly put together. And so that could be one of the ways and one of the reasons why you're not being matched in the first place. So my recommendation always is for adoption profiles that you utilize a professional that can help you put it together in a way that's appealing, in a way that's really going to speak to an expectant mom's heart, you know, and in a way that's going to make your family stand out. You obviously don't want to lie about who you are, but you want your profile to showcase your true personality, your beliefs, your values for your family, and what you love, what you don't love, things like that. The third thing that you want to know if you want to adopt without an agency is you want to know how to avoid scams and also how to recognize red flags, okay? So let's say you decide that you want to self-match. That is the most common time that people get scammed, is when they're self-matching, because you're basically on your own. You're trying to get yourself out there. You're hoping that an expectant mom will reach out to you, and then you start a conversation with the expectant mom. Well, how are you going to know if she's lying to you? How are you going to know if this is a scam? You need to be able to recognize what scams look like so that if you find yourself in one, you can cut it off right away. Okay, so that's for scams. Red flags are also a really big thing that most hopefully adoptive parents don't even think about, right? Because in the excitement of getting matched with an expectant mom, you want it to work out. You're hoping that this is going to work and that the adoption will go smoothly, but there could be some red flags along the way that if you just knew about them, you'd be able to cut off that communication before it gets too far. One of the red flags that I commonly see in my law office, for example, is if an expectant mom is deciding to place her baby for adoption when she just found out, let's say last week, that she's pregnant, and let's say she's in her very first trimester. Okay, I usually say that is a red flag because she hasn't felt that baby yet. She hasn't felt the baby move inside of her. There are so many things that she hasn't felt yet through her pregnancy that it may be a red flag. It may be that she's excited now because she just found out, and the emotions of finding out that she's pregnant, she's like, oh my gosh, I need to do something, and then she contacted you. But 6 months later, right after she's felt that baby and she's really grown to feel this baby inside of her, she may decide, you know what, I want to keep my baby. Okay, so you really want to become aware of red flags, not necessarily scams, but red flags, things that, you know, if they happen, you can be like, okay, I'm just gonna put this over here. It may or may not happen. I don't want to put my heart into it, and we're just gonna see where it goes. Okay, so there are several red flags that that are good for you to know, and I just told you one of them. So if you're wanting to adopt without an agency, these are things that are really, really important for you to know. So I'm going to do a quick recap. The first one is you really want to understand all the other professionals that you can use in your adoption and how they're going to benefit you. The second thing is that you really want to understand how to put together your profile so that it looks great and that it's unique. And the third thing is you want to be able to learn how to avoid scams so that you don't waste a ton of money and time, and also how to spot red flags and know whether an adoption will actually maybe not make it to the end. Okay, if you want to know more about the Adoption Success Accelerator program, click right here to watch Allison's story about how she came to the program, why she came to the program, and the amazing success that she has had since joining. All right, well guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure that you click that like button, be sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys. All right, bye-bye.